In the quiet town of Ashford Hollow, nestled between rolling hills and silver rivers, lived a peculiar old man named Thomas Whitmore. He was a clockmaker, known for his delicate craftsmanship and for the faint smell of cedarwood and oil that clung to his long brown coat. His shop, Whitmore's Timepieces, stood at the corner of Market Street, its dusty windows displaying clocks of every size, grandfather clocks that chimed like cathedral bells, pocket watches with golden chains, and tiny silver carriage clocks no bigger than a mouse. But what most of Ashford Hollow did not know was that Thomas's clocks were more than simple machines. Each one carried a thread of magic woven into its gears. When wound correctly, they could bend time in ways subtle and strange. A baker might find her bread always rising perfectly, a child might never be late for school, and a weary mother could enjoy an hour of rest stretched into what felt like two. The only person who knew the full truth was Lydia Gray, a curious 16-year-old girl with copper-red hair and bright green eyes. Lydia lived across the street, in a bookshop owned by her aunt. She often slipped away from the scent of musty pages and ink to peer through the window of Whitmore's shop. One rainy afternoon, she finally pushed the door open. Inside, the air hummed faintly, as though every clock ticked in unison with some invisible heartbeat. "You're late," Thomas said without looking up from his workbench. "I don't even have an appointment," Lydia replied, surprised. "Time keeps its own appointments," Thomas murmured, smiling faintly. From that day forward, Lydia began to visit daily. Thomas showed her the intricate workings of gears and springs, but also the hidden runes etched onto the clock faces, symbols that glowed faintly blue when touched. She learned that time, like thread, could be stitched, unraveled, and rewoven, but always with care. One evening, as the sun bled red over the horizon, Thomas grew pale and weary. He placed a small, brass pocket watch into Lydia's hands. "This is the heart of hours," he whispered. "It is the first clock I ever made, and the source of my magic. It chooses a guardian when the old one grows weak. Tonight, it has chosen you." Lydia's heart pounded. "Me? But I don't know enough." "You will," Thomas said firmly. That very night, something stirred in Ashford Hollow. The townsfolk woke to find the great tower clock in the square stopped at exactly midnight. Shadows lengthened unnaturally, and people felt hours slip away without warning. Windows frosted though it was midsummer, and birds flew backward in the sky. Thomas, too frail to act, turned to Lydia. "Someone is tampering with time. You must set it right." With trembling hands, Lydia wound the heart of hours. The little watch pulsed warmly, guiding her toward the square. There, beneath the frozen clock tower, stood a tall stranger in a black cloak. His eyes gleamed like polished obsidian. "I am Edmund Blackwood," he declared, his voice deep and cold. "Whitmore has kept the magic of time selfishly guarded. Tonight, I will unspool it and weave a world where I am master of every hour." He raised a staff, and the tower's gears shrieked. Time cracked like shattered glass, fragments glittering in the air. Lydia felt seconds stutter around her, her own heartbeat slowing and racing erratically. Gripping the heart of hours, she whispered the runes Thomas had taught her. A circle of blue light flared, pushing back Edmund's darkness. "You're just a child," he sneered. "Maybe," Lydia said, her voice steadier than she felt. "But time doesn't belong to you, or to me. It belongs to everyone." With that, she pressed the heart of hours against the base of the tower clock. Instantly, every clock in Ashford Hollow began to chime, from the smallest pocket watch to the largest bell tower. The sound rang pure and bright, washing over the town. Shadows shriveled, the air cleared, and Edmund staggered back as though struck. His cloak dissolved into smoke, and he vanished into the night with a final, furious cry. When silence returned, the tower clock ticked once more, its hands moving forward steadily. The stars shone as though freshly polished. Exhausted but triumphant, Lydia stumbled back to the shop. Thomas waited at the door, leaning heavily on his cane. "You've done what I could not," he said softly. "The heart of hours is yours now. Guard it well. One day, you may need to teach another, just as I taught you." Lydia looked down at the glowing watch in her palm, realizing that her life would never again be ordinary. She had become the guardian of time itself. And so, in the quiet town of Ashford Hollow, while the townsfolk went about their days unaware of the great battle that had saved them, a girl with copper-red hair walked the cobbled streets with a secret ticking softly in her pocket. A secret that promised many more adventures yet to come.